All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I actually was not planning on covering this one again today, but I mean, just a wild day. And if you watched yesterday's video, the very last thing I did, and I'm not saying this to brag, I really, really hope you know that. I'm more saying this as a reminder that even if your money is only in one single stock, it's good to look at the entire sector, at least as much as you can of it, right? And the last thing I did, and I swear it was basically an accident, what what C3 AI did was it gapped down really hard on earnings. And as bad as this red candle looks, what we said was what I actually like about it is look in the box over there. This thing opened at 15 and then goes up and closes at 16, basically 50. That's a 10% gain right there on that candle. And then obviously we see today we actually get an interesting doji. And again, I think I'm going to use this a little bit to guide my next thought. But BBAI basically mimicked that and actually did a little bit better than that, right? Obviously, the days says negative 15, right? Because, yeah, we are up here. Bad earnings brought us down. But what happened was we opened, and I'm a little shocked we opened below 5. That's actually a for sure. I was not expecting that. But we opened down here at $4.79 and then basically add a little bit more than $1 on that, coming up to just shy of 6, right? We actually kissed the 50. More people actually maybe made 25% right there, right? I'm kind of using rough numbers, but you have $4, you add a fifth buck to that, that's a 25% roughly right there, right? So yeah, it's a red bad candle, but there's a reason we have four different colors, right? It's not just red and green. It's good, good, all right, good, bad, bad, and then yeah, kind of all right, bad, right? So, and then like I said, that interesting copycat of C3 AI, which like I said, really was on accident, and it's a good reminder. Look at the whole sector, and it's why we do that on this video a lot, right? We is just me, obviously, but the unison we when we chat and comment and all that sort of stuff, right? The other one to talk about is SOFI. And yo, I know I make videos about things that like go 50%, 40%, 30%, 20%, 10%, right? This is not a big percentage right there, but that is a monster candle, all right? And we talked about it for the last few videos, and I'm going to say it again, but I think the craziest thing to me, and again, we need confirmation, all right? You know, that's the backbone of these videos, and yeah, we need it. And I do see after hours going up a little bit, but you know that's kind of insignificant to me, right? But we did this and still don't have a monster volume behind us. You know what I mean? Still a healthy 63 RSI, a lot to really like here. And as we look at both of these, right? You look at the S&P 500, look at that candle right there. Right, we are now well above the biggest candle to the left. There's nothing back here, right? Like this is an all-time high S&P 500. This is an all-time high NASDAQ right there. That is a 65 RSI. We talked about MACD was definitely red over green, but now it's not, and it never went into the negative. I didn't say it on the S&P 500, but you better believe it's basically the same thing. Still a little red over green, but I like that 56 a lot, right? So a lot to really like on both of those. I didn't look at the Dow Jones, I'll be honest, but hey, that's a nice Dow Jones right there, right? What was struggling to finish the bounce off that 50 looks like it's about to do it if it can confirm tomorrow, right? So really liking the indices. I think that helped a little bit with this BBAI recovery, but hey, I'm gonna say it for sure. I am more long term negative on this thing than positive. I don't think we're going to be getting over $7 if I had to take an educated guess here, right? I think I kind of regret deleting my two lines because we had like a golden line and a red line behind it. I'm going to probably end up drawing what I'm going to guess was one of the two from those, right? But maybe there's a chance that we go from 6 to 7. Top of my head, I can't think of that percent right there, but that's not too bad right there. And then yeah, well, I'll do the rest. I'm kind of giving away too much right there. And then SoFi, obviously, I'm loving it. Maybe this won't even be that long a video because I've said a lot of what I was going to say, right? But before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it. All right, so let's talk about BBAI today. And really, I gotta excuse me, little baby hiccup. I got to zoom out a little bit because we got to talk about this 100 moving average, all right? Look, it wasn't a perfect bounce by any means. It's not like we actually hit it and went, but we basically fall, and it's something I say on I know I've said it before, all right? I'm not just this if an earnings is good, you're probably going to smash through like two resistances, whether it's a well-drawn resistance line or a moving average, all right? If you have bad earnings, there's a real shot that you're going to lose too. And this thing played the moving average loss. We were up here, it ends up falling below one, and basically, and again, we're going to look in the box over there, right? We open at $4.79, the second line right there. If you go a little bit lower, the blue line, we were only what, 10, 16 cents above this line right here, right? So I'm not a Star Wars guy, but the line kind of was using the force that it has to like, no, don't come down here. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that offended a lot of people, but yes, hopefully that was good. So yes, it basically comes all the way down here, and then what does it do? Again, I'm telling you, I really didn't expect it to do it, but it is what happened, right? We looked at C3AI, which had the exact same gap down. It actually does lose two supports and even comes down and opens at the third one right there, right? But instead of focusing on what, I mean, I'm going to click into it, what is a 25% loss? No. What we're looking at is, and again, I said it, you open down here at 15, you go up to 16, basically 50. That's a 10% gain right there, right? So that's actually more good than bad. That's why this one's outlined and that one's filled in, right? This is not bad. And then we see a very interesting doji today, all right? I think there's a decent chance that this might attempt as much as it can to come to the 8 moving average. But again, I'm not here pretending I know the math. This thing's about to exponentially go down. This gap down is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like we're still up here, right, for a majority of the 8 days. As we start trailing and down here becomes more of that 8 days, this thing's gonna come down quick, right? So saying all that, and I know you're here to watch BBAI, that's what I'm looking at right now. The main difference is it's not that big a channel anymore. This thing took as much advantage as it could of this channel right here, right? A channel is anything, either two lines that I draw, a moving average in a line, right? We basically did the channel between the 50 and the 100. And if you look at it, it is green, nothing. It actually was able to green all the way back up to it, right? So that's what it did really well, all right? I don't know if it's going to get over that 50. This is a really hard line to lose down and break back over. All right. And the volume was a lot higher than I expected. And that is something we talked about, right? Maybe we're going to get a good volume, but it's going to be mainly a sell volume, right? It's kind of hard to say how sell it was because as you look at the hourly, right? I'm putting all this on top of all this, and then we still have all this. Like, there was actually more buying today than this one crazy sell off, right? So I don't know how much I believe this was actually a red volume day, all right? That said, I live and die by these lines up here more than the things down here. And I'm here respecting that $6.03 red line that is the 50 moving average, all right? If we get over 603, I think there's a decent chance we'll make a run up to like 680, maybe even that 698 line. The line I used to have before, if I had to guess, was probably 50% of that. And that's a good lineup of that right there. If I had to guess, it was probably a penny or two away from this right here. All right. Maybe I would use this line because again, it kind of looks like the eight's probably gonna end up coming. I think I'm gonna delete this line. Keep that 660 in your pocket. Maybe that'll be a little bit of resistance if it goes up. But look, right now it is all about $6.03. Maybe it's even worth calling it this. What does this open at? 606. Let's use 606. You break 606. What was your high of the day? Did you test 606? Look at that. You got to 608. I see you. This red line is obviously more important than the candle, right? Break 606 again. Maybe call it 609, 610, just because we got to 608 today, right? Break that, and I think I'm going to use that immediate target of like whatever that 8 moving average comes down to. It might even be 660, which is the bottom of this thing. I think that's where that line I just drew was basically. So, yeah, I think overall, I don't think we're gonna get back over the 8 and the 20. I don't. I'm not. I think the earnings stuff was too bad, and I'm interested to see if I'm wrong. All right. I think on the weekly, it's real interesting to see. Basically, to the penny kisses that 20. Right. Made up a lot of it. It really, really did. Right. But ah, man, I mean, as you look at the lower indicators, you've got red over green, and it looks like green is about to slip into the negative MACD. I for sure know a 28 is a low RSI, right? But we've seen low numbers, and look at this day. The RSI was a 3.65. Next day, what were you? 3.85. Next day, what were you? 4.99. It wasn't that long ago that the RSI on this exact same stock was in the double digits. I was in the wow was sub double digits, living in the single digits. I couldn't get that out correctly, right? So, look, as happy as I am, and I hope you bank this well. I'm not sure it could repeat. I think my guess is we're gonna probably come down to 550. I paused there because I wasn't sure if I wanted to lower it and make it like right here because that's about 50% of that in this. Ooh, I need water. Give me one sec. I'm gonna pause. Oh man, sorry about that. Um, what's the difference between that and here? 550 and 530, 20 cents. What is that? 5%. I'm gonna keep my 550 line. I think based on your risk reward tolerance, maybe a 530 range could be okay. If we lose that 530, especially, right? That 520 is basically the top of that. You're falling to sub 5, and you're gonna come to 460 one more time. All right. So on the high side, maybe 7. I think it's more realistic to think that we're going to come down to this 421. And I said it on yesterday's video. Look, at the moment, I don't think this is going to go any lower than 350. Okay, I saw some people talking like really low twos. Maybe you can make the argument for like a 280. This 200 moving average is the last line of the 5. It's really hard to break it up. Couldn't. This is week after week after week after week. Going this high and failing, going that high and failing, getting over but still couldn't go away, right? Then fine. This is a hard line to break up. It should be a hard line to lose down, right? So I think immediately 340 is the lowest I'd be thinking. And there are still several lines. There's at least 2 I have drawn right here. There's at least 2 moving averages right there. There are several lines before we get anywhere near that 345. The only reason I'm mentioning it, all right, is this weekly RSI got to a 19. All right, we're at 61. All right, it was around the 60s before it started to come down, and it was around the 60s that it was the earnings drop that made it come down, right? So is it apples to apples? No, it's not, right? But we're here setting expectations. We're going to see if it happens or not. So I am thinking more down than up, but yeah, you break 603, 610 is kind of what we said, right? And yeah, I think there's a reason. I think that there's a little bit more than 10%. What is that? Like almost 15%, right? You're going to add roughly 90 cents on a $6 stock right there, right? So Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Yo, let me know your long term. I know there's a lot of, I'm a short term video dude, right? We're making daily, weekly chart thoughts here, right? But there's a lot of longs here. Let me know what you are thinking. The one thing that I said is the real concerning thing for me, it really was the uncertainty of the Army contract headlines, right? My biggest love for this was they had their hand in the military pocket. Man, you can't lose your place in that wallet, right? Like once you've got the credit card, they'll keep swiping and swiping, and you'll hopefully get other military branches too, right? So the Army uncertainty is by no means game over and dead, but that's not the update I think any of us were expecting, right? So look, let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come in to SOFI, all right? And oh my gosh, I don't have too many educated thoughts to say right now, all right? What is happening is two things. Yo, real quick, hey, if you can subscribe, if you can share this video, it does wonders with the algorithms. Two things to call out, all right? And again, we're not here bragging, right? We're here setting expectations and hopefully attacking when things happen. So I'm zoomed out. Let's look at this view right here. This is a great view. So earnings, earnings, earnings. What happens is we go horizontal until the truth hits. All right? Earning, we go horizontal until the truth hits. Earning, we've gone horizontal until what seemingly is the truth hits. All right? I love us over that golden line right there. All right, and I said it on the last time I covered this. I don't think it was the last video, but look, I'm zooming out, zooming out, zooming out. I'm coming all the way here. I'm going to even just zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. All right. I am well aware that all-time highs is all the way up here. All right. I did draw this line just to give us our next expectation. Breaking this 2240 line is my all-time high number because this was the hardest resistance. All right, we couldn't get over it. We got over it, but couldn't confirm. Couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over it. Couldn't get over it. And then never, ever, 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 ever saw that line until just now. Right? So that is the all-time high. This is the resistance to break. From there, all I see is green, 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 red, 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 nothing, nothing. Green, 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 red, 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 nothing, nothing. Green, 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 red, red, red. You don't need me to zoom out again like I did, right? So once this smashes, and I'm saying the word once kind of loosely, all right? There is no such thing as guaranteed. There is no such thing as a rational market that's going to do the thing that you expect it to do because, man, the market is wild, all right? But when you break all-time high golden line, which you see what happened when it did last time, all right? When you break that line and you've got an S&P 500 that's going into all-time highs, that has the green over red getting hungry to go, that's still at a very low daily RSI with the MACD ready to go back positive. And the NASDAQ looks exactly the same as that, and actually a little bit better because we've got the green over red on both of them, right? All you can really think to yourself is delicious, right? Like, I don't know what to say right there, but yo, listen, I know it sounds silly to buy something at the highest price it's been. And it's not a guarantee that it's always going to go up. That's for sure not the case. But all-time highs is the best place for your money. There is no educated line I can draw, right? Like, let's look at it in the weekly. I can't draw a line at 29.05 and say, yep, that's the line. I can't do it at 30, whatever, at 31, however high it lets me go before it gets cut off, right? Like, there are no resistances. It's the same problem with the going down an all-time, and I say it, black hole vortex and avoid all-time lows. There's no support to catch it, right? So two sides of that coin. One of them is way, way better. It's the all-time high side of that coin. So, yeah, this, I think it's a little offensive, maybe, but this just reminds me of Palantir. Palantir, not that long ago, we had a line in the 20s, and then it made its way up to the 20 somethings, then the 30 somethings, then that 40 somethings, and then now we're here, right? So maybe a little offensive. I think Palantir has way more government contracts, way more international government contracts, way more. And I again, given respect to Palantir that it deserves, right? But yeah, SoFi. If I'm just looking at a four-letter ticker and a four-letter ticker, and I'm looking at setups and this and that, yeah, they actually kind of look the same, right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Oh, I appreciate you so much.